the regular meeting of Mount Clemens Board of Education to order. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Wall. Here. Miss Hammond. Here. Dr. McFadden. Mr. Shepherd. Here. Mrs. Walker. Mr. Walker. Here. Mr. Rickman.
Here. A quorum has been established. Next on the agenda, Pledge of Allegiance. Excuse me. Next on the agenda are citizens' comments. If there's citizens that have questions and they want a written response to those questions, we ask that you fill out the forms in the back so the question can be addressed adequately. We have a 72-hour time period by which to reply to the written questions from citizens. Next on our citizens' comments. This is a portion of the meeting in which citizens can address the board within your questions, comments, and concerns. We'd ask that you stand. I don't know where the microphone is.
It's over here.
Huh?
You want them to come to the mic, or can they stand there? Can you pick them up if they stand here? Yeah. Okay.
Ask that you stand, come to the front of the room, state your name and address. Be mindful you have 3 minutes by which to make your inquiries. Also, you may not receive a particular response to your inquiry here this evening. Last but not least, I request that you address all questions, comments, concerns to the chair. The agenda is now open for citizens' comments. Right up here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. My name is John Baller. I live at 475 North Esplanade, and 1980 graduated Mount Clemens High. I'm here tonight to let you know that I will not be supporting the $92 million bond scheduled for a special election on May 6th. There are several reasons that I will not be voting for this bond. I could speak on the previous bond refinancing that was passed during the early 2000s, which we are still paying today. The bond built 2 new schools, and already one is closed due to declining enrollment. That bond did not secure enrollment or improve students' scholastic performance tied to reading. All Clemens students as of 2023 ranked in the bottom of 10% of Michigan students, and no amount of spending on new school buildings, gyms, green spaces, we used to call grass, and football fields to improve scholastic performance. I could speak on that, on the idiocy of demolishing one half of the high school that actually had shop classes, labs, and auditorium and replaced with a gym. When STEM and trade jobs are in full demand, they could actually help the students to succeed after graduating. These and many other reasons, which I'm sure have been already discussed, don't need repeating, but what I really wanted to discuss was the deception of the school board for trying to get this bond passed. First, it was scheduled on a special election that really should have been scheduled for the general election when everybody is aware of that election being held. And I feel that that's just trying to slip this vote through when many people aren't aware of this election. Second, I feel that you're trying to trick people by saying that our taxes are saving money by voting for this bond, when in fact the Mount Clemens school system is going to be saddled with the property owners going to be saddled with $139 million in new taxes until 2046. Your pamphlet for discussing the payment schedule for the bond contained was very small print, with even smaller print stating the debt millage projections contingent on several variables, which I'm sure were based on overly optimistic projected property values and future bond refinancing. And third, nothing really states that students' scholastic performance will improve with this incredible amount of spending that's being asked voters to approve. So in closing, the Mount Clemens School Board has a history of being poor stewards of the Mount Clemens school system students, as well as the money that has been given to them by the Mount Clemens property owner. Student math, reading performance ratings are in the bottom 10% of Michigan schools, and enrollment is still too low to justify a $9,200 bond. That actually the cost to Mount Clemens property owners will be $139 million over the life of this bond. And this bond should not be approved by Mount Clemens property owners voters. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Well said.
The agenda is still open for citizens' comments. Second call, citizens' comments. Last call, citizens' comments. Hearing or seeing none, moving the agenda forward. Next on the agenda, item 5. Under item 5 are principal quarterly updates. 5A, GSRP, Ms. Stask. 5B, Seminole Academy, Mrs. McNeely. And 5C, Secondary Complex, Mr. Veal. Superintendent.
Yep. Good evening, board, community. Thank you for being here tonight. This is, we do this three times a year where we ask our building leadership to come and present and talk about things, the great things that are happening here in Mount Clemens Community Schools. And so we start with our GSRP. Mr. Stars will present, followed by Ms. McNeely at Seminole, and then Mr. Veal for the secondary campus. Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Lou Stass, the coordinator for the GSRP program. I'm losing my voice at the moment. I'm just going to go quickly through the whole school year. We have 65 students right now currently enrolled in our program with 10 staff. These are reading the books and building. As you can see, the Magna-Tiles are taller than the students are. In October, we took the children and their families to the apple orchard. Stan the fireman came to visit with his little fire truck that the children enjoyed riding in the parking lot, and we had Halloween parties. In November, the Reptarium came to the school for an in-house field trip, and I can honestly say a year ago was the first time we had this in-house field trip, and the response that we got from the children is at first they were so hesitant and scared of these reptiles, but within 10 minutes they were all, I want to touch, I want to see, and the excitement that came from them that time a year ago convinced me I absolutely had to have them come back this school year. Because again, it's a different group of children, but they thoroughly enjoyed it. It's something that they don't get to see hands-on and actually touch and enjoy that with their classmates. In December, we had plenty of learning and holiday cheer. The backdrop that the staff displayed and created for our children and our families was quite enjoyable for all. January, learning again to read the letters of their names, playing different letter recognition games in the classrooms. Just going through. In March, we took the children to see the movie Luck on St. Patrick's Day, and we had pajamas on. They were all green pajamas and St. Patrick themed, and we were able to go to the Imagine Theater, which was a joyful time. They got their drink and their popcorn, and they sat through the whole movie and totally enjoyed it. So, in April, our school board member, Miss Hammond, came and read a story to our kids, which they always love a guest reader. We also have Miss Bonnie, who has been an art teacher for over 30 years, and she comes at least once a month to read to the children. They just melt when we have a guest speaker. So if you ever have 10 to 15 minutes available one day during the week, just give me a call and I can work you into the schedule without any problems. GSRP is busy. Some of the upcoming events is we are going Tuesday of this week. We went to the Mount Clemens Public Library to share that with the children and their families. The parents were invited to participate, so they got to see the new and improved Mount Clemens Library to again encourage family interaction with the local community. Tuesday of next week, we're going to the Metro Park Nature Center and walking the trails over there and exposing them to animals. We're doing our field day. We're going to the Detroit Zoo. Our Our graduation is June 6th from 5 to 7:30. This will be the first time we're doing an evening event to encourage all families to come, not having it during the day where it impacts work schedules. So we're opening it to the families in the evening, and we expect an even bigger turnout this year with it. If any of the school boards or staff members would like to mark their calendars for June 6th at 5 o'clock to 7:15, we are more than welcome. We will find a chair for you. And just thank you for enjoying my little quick slide presentation, but I wanted to share one data information that we calculated from last year's enrollment. Last year we had 65 students. Of the 65 students, 33 of them currently attend Seminole. That is 50.77%. This is the first time we actually have tracked the numbers, and so we now have a base. And this graduating class, we're going to track their numbers. So at the next presentation for next school year, you'll see my numbers on the data sheet indicating what the numbers are. And my goal is to continue to get them increased. Thank you.
One of the things really quickly, we actually, Ms. Stalls and I met this morning. One of the things that is imperative, we all know what the research and data says about how imperative that 0 to 4, but that age group, a great early childhood start is for our kids. A number of our students that come to us come with deficits. So we worked this morning to talk about how we're going to try to be intentional with that GSRP program meeting and aligning with our elementary and kindergarten staff to make sure we're targeting the gaps and deficits that our kids come to. We have kids that come to us in kindergarten already with deficits from outside of the district. I mean, from outside of our GSRP, or just come to us in general. And so it's really important that our GSRP is intentional with the skills and developing the skills that our kindergartners are showing deficits in. So some of the data that we look at, I know Ms. Stahl shared a lot of the fun things, but they have a curriculum. They're implementing their curriculum that is academically focused and driven. And it's imperative, again, one of the things that we're going to do is ensure that grade cross-curricular grade level conversation is happening, so those kids can come to kindergarten ready to go, right? So it's imperative that we do that from GSRP to the elementary, and from the elementary to middle, and middle to high. So we're aligned and targeting and being intentional with the needs of our kids. So thank you, Ms. Dawes, and that whole staff. A few of them are here. They do a great job in receiving our kids, and we're excited about that program continuing to grow. So thank you. Ms. McNeely, Seminole. Ms. Ellie, where's her?
It's on first, the next one.
Can you come up?
Oh boy, I have to forward and talk. That's okay. Is that on? Am I? All right. Good evening, and thank you for coming. This is our quarterly report for Seminole. This is our enrollment for our ECSE program. That's our Early Childhood Special Ed. Last year at this time, our enrollment was 42, and currently it's at 46, so up a little bit. And this is our enrollment for kindergarten through 5th grade, comparing from spring of last year to spring of this current year. So we are, holding pretty strong in most grades, a little lower in 5th grade, but stronger in 7th grade or 2nd grade and 4th grade right now. And then this is enrollment overall with ECSE, the elementary, and then total. So our elementary enrollment was 407 in last year, and it's 401 currently. And I apologize, that should be spring at the top. So it's actually the spring data So I didn't change those titles. Sorry about that. And then our total enrollment is 449 was last year, and right now we're at 447, including ECSE. And this is our information about our current NWEA. So this is from fall of this year until winter of this year. So these test scores were in September. I'm sorry, September, and then in January, December and January, and we'll be testing again next month. So these are our math scores, and this is the percent of students that are proficient in math on the NWEA. So we did get some catch-up growth in second grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade, and we're holding in kindergarten. There were some losses in first and third grade, and I attribute those to we do have some long-term teachers, substitute teachers in those grades. So it was a little rocky there for a bit, but we have some really strong teachers in there now. So we're expecting that our final testing session should show some growth there. Okay, and then this is our reading scores, again from fall in September to the winter testing cycle in December and January. So again, we have some holding steady there in fifth grade and first and second grade. We do have some work to do. We are implementing some strong reading interventions. We have 2 reading interventionists and a reading coach that are going in to assist and help in the classrooms with that. And so we're doing some pull-out intervention and then some push-in into the classroom as well. And so we move on to culture and climate and our attendance. So this is data from fall. So that was fall, a year ago fall, and then this school year fall, pretty much about the same, a little bit less. And then moving into spring of last year and spring of this year. So last year we had 218 students who had chronic attendance issues. So that was more than 10% of the school day. That we've been in school that they had missed, and this year we have 138. So I think we're doing some strong work on that. I think a lot of that is we're really making sure that we're notifying parents and we're making sure they have all the information they need about how important it is for their students to be at school every day, and also making sure they're aware when their students aren't there and how those numbers can add up, because one day missing can add up really quickly to 10% of the school year. Moving on to our discipline. So these are suspensions. So again, it's from fall, comparing fall of last year to fall of this year. There was a slight decline. And then again, spring of last year to spring of this year. Spring of last year, we had 99 suspensions, and we're currently at 90. So we are down. We're continuing to work on that and working on the mindset that we're focusing on changing behavior, not just punishing behavior. So getting our students to understand what they could do differently, working through their problems, lots of peer talk, peer interventions, and those kinds of things, helping our students understand how to go about conflict in the way that we would like to see them do that. And then the fun, nice and fuzzy stuff, our celebrations. So working a lot on the culture and climate in our school. So this is our PBIS, or Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. So we do work with our roar cart. And what this is our students get punch cards. And whenever they're caught doing something that we want to focus on as being positive, or they're doing something that is really great, or good, we want to recognize them for that, then every staff member has a punch, and so they can get a punch, and they can spend those punches on things on our roar card a couple times a month. So they come to our library and they get to spend their punches in the library. We also do our Student of the Month. So we recognize our students every month in every class who's been recognized by their teachers. And then at the end of the month, we have a pizza lunch with myself and the students, and some of our GSRP staff come along as well, because we like to recognize them also. So this is a couple of our lunches that we've had. We are working right now to ramp up our library space. In the past, it was kind of a media center, and now we want it to be more of a library space where students can come and get comfortable, read a book, to just realize what that great feeling is to read a good book in a nice, comfy, welcoming space and just kind of relax. So that's what we're working on right now. We are also in the works we'd like to build a tree kind of in the center there and have the kids work on that to make kind of like a naturey feel inside. We're also working with Anton Art Center to create a mural on the back wall that the students will all be involved in creating that as well. And this is our Black History Family Night that the Equity team put on for us. We had a chance to eat a meal together. Students did some artwork, and we made buttons out of those. They did a gallery walk of some artwork, and I have a couple pages of that. So some more. We had some of our second grade students sang for us, and it was just a really nice, fun event. And there's some more of our gallery walk. So all artwork of our students. So all students K through 5 created something to display for our evening. So for our March is Reading Month celebrations, and we did have a book fair. This was our second book fair this year, sponsored by Scripps Howard. So all students received 5 books that they got to take home for free. So that was 10 over the whole school year, so 5 for each event. And then we had some reading guests there as well. And we had Commissioner Wallace there read. Prosecutor Lucido came as well, and then we had a group of students that were all having fun reading the same book there. We also had our kindergarten roundup, and our focus was on blasting off to kindergarten. So we had a lot of fun with that. We had some guests coming. Our Rashida there, our board member, came and had a table for the Great Start Readiness, and Head Start, I apologize. The minute it came out of my mouth, I knew it was wrong. And then we had a raffle that we gave away to the families who came. Last weekend, we had a tree planting celebration for Earth Day, and so we planted, I had a donation from the AKAs, came and planted a maple tree on our lower elementary playground. And then we also had 2 other trees that were planted with flowers on our upper elementary playground as well. And then we put up some snow fence around that this week to make sure they didn't get ran over at playground or at recess. This is some pictures of how welcoming our front office is when people come in. So for every season, the front office ladies do a fantastic job of making it just a great space that people want to come in and see and feel comfortable. Also wanted to recognize our seminal teacher of the year, Mrs. Eller. I just love that picture. So thank you. And then also a couple of superheroes where every day work there at school couldn't get done without the help of Mrs. Dickinson. So she's a superwoman there helping with discipline and culture, and Mr. Fringer, who's our counselor, he's a Superman, just doing a fantastic job. So we couldn't do it without the 2 of them. So thank you. And one last thing is we are having a family event coming up soon next week, a dodgeball event, which will be adults versus students. So you're welcome to come 5 to 7, have some food, and throw a ball at
adult or a child, maybe. I don't know, but okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McNeely. Mrs. McNeely. Next up, we'll have Mr. Ville, our secondary building leader, principal.
All right, good evening. Thank you. All right, so for the secondary complex, these are Q3 sharings of data. So I'm proud to present some positive data for enrollment. This is comparing Q3 of last school year to Q3 of this year. We're up 3 students. And then also for high school, we have increased enrollment as well. Last year was 171 around this time. This year we're at 226 for high school students. All right, so on to some academic data. This slide shows the percentage of students who made the honor roll for Q3. Last year we were at 24%. This year, Q3, we're at 31% for high school. And then for middle school, Q3 is 17%. And that was last year. And this year we're at 25%. So as you can see, the bar graphs are gradually going up. And that's something that we are very proud of. And I'm proud of my staff for assisting our students with that. So how do we get there? Our last meeting, I introduced this academic intervention program for students under a 2.0. And I have some Q3 updates to the left of that. So we were going to try to pay our tutors with teachers. We're going to use teachers as tutors to pay them here. Instead, we have shifted and we're using a partnership formed with the Single Family Living Organization. They used to do the tutoring at the library across the street. And so we just had them migrate on across the street and service our students between 3 and 5 p.m. each day. Tuesday and Wednesday. And they actually serve food at every session as well. You know, that's huge for our babies. Being here that late, they get hungry. So I'm very proud about that. Students below 2.0 GPA decreased by 23 students from Q2 to Q3, meaning that those students went above a 2.0. All right, so that's proof that this program is effective, it is working, and it is worth our time. It's also free, by the way. It's not costing us anything. It's a nonprofit organization. We have also done this by encouraging an academic culture through honor roll ceremonies that you'll see pictures of later in this presentation. We gave the students t-shirts that they proudly wear around here with their name on the back, showing that they made the honor roll for that quarter. And then posters of recognition that you may have seen or viewed walking through the hallway on the right-hand side as you come in. All right, on to some NWEA data. All right, so this graph right here will show you NWEA winter reading percentage of students who are proficient. All right, so in short, I have a summary at the top because that's very small. And if you're not an educator, you probably are eyes getting crossed trying to see. But the positive is that we've experienced growth from the fall test to the winter test. There's another test in the spring, which is like the culminating test. So we're looking to see even better results then. But we did experience 5% growth in reading proficiency for 9th graders. And then for 12th graders, 11% growth in proficiency. For math, we have even better numbers for math. 6th grade, 1.5% growth. 8th grade, 8.3% growth. 9th grade, 4.5% growth. And 12th grade, again, is leading with 18% growth. It's not a surprise that 12th grade is leading in both categories. Usually by the 12th grade, students are taking life very, very serious. And each test they feel like is like the SAT. So they're buckling down and showing out for it. All right, so moving on to attendance. These are numbers I'm very proud of as well. This slide shows number of students who are considered to be chronically absent. And for those of you that don't know, chronically absent is students who miss 10% or more of the school days over the school year. So for quarter three last year, this time, we had 53% of our students who were chronically absent, and we are down to 35%. For high school, that was middle school, that last slide. For high school, we were at 83, and this school year we are down to 66. All right, so how do we do that? We have some intervention systems in place. I have some quarter three updates over to the left. Our last meeting, we talked about the EWIMS coordinator position, who works basically like an attendance agent to make sure that our chronically absent percentages are intact. So updates, the EWIMS coordinator received a promotion to pupil accountant. So congratulations to him. Dariana Goodson is serving as the interim at this time. We're looking to fill this position this month. The position is posted and we have a couple applicants, so we're looking to close on that ASAP because it's a very important position. We did this by sending truancy letters home. We also do robocalls to inform parents each hour about student absences. We do hall sweeps very randomly, but at least once or twice a week, just to keep students on their toes and keeping them in class. And we have switched to a personal empathetic approach that has rendered positive results. So instead of calling and threatening that, if your child doesn't come to school, you'll be going to jail, we're calling and asking, hey, where's our baby? Where's so-and-so? We miss them, right? We need them in school because that gives them the best opportunity to be successful. And that's been helpful. So on to culture and climate. More positivity. Quarter three, 2024, we had 8 suspensions in quarter three. And this year, we have 5 suspensions. So we're down. Which is good, because around this time of the year when things heat up, students begin to kind of get a little antsy, right? And, they get into trouble, right? So we have been aware of that and taking proper precaution. All right, so how we do that? Some quarter three updates over to the left. We introduced a CARES program for students who have been caught with like a marijuana vape pen. We do not have students smoking in the school, which is great. But if a student is caught, they'll be referred to this program. They actually come here during the day. It's a part of our ISS program, so they'll sit there all day and get some knowledge on why they should not be smoking marijuana and the damages that it may cause to the body and the brain. The win is that we don't have any repeat offenders, right? So that's working, obviously. It works a lot better than a suspension or in-school suspension with no information. We want to inform our kids so that they can make informed decisions. Also, we have a CARES life skills class that will begin next week, working on soft skills. And we will run that in conjunction with our career explorations class. It'll be a push-in once a week. We have implemented Monday morning culture meetings for middle school. Our middle school students are responding to the warm weather, and they are getting a bit antsy. And so our dean, Mr. Hanna, he's implemented Monday morning meetings where we have a guest speaker, and we're going to implement conflict resolution because I'm realizing that our babies just don't know conflict resolution. They don't know the proper way to handle a conflict. Instead, they may approach whoever they're into it with, right, with an aggressive tone, aka checking them, right, and expecting a positive response. So we want to give them the skills that they need in order to be successful, and so we're going to do that. Quarter three, the restorative practice process prevented 11 possible confrontations. Very, very proud about that. So I've been tracking that data, and the restorative process, for those who don't know, is when you get the two parties that are into it, they sit down and we force them to talk it out in a safe environment. A lot of our babies really want to solve their issues in a positive and productive way, but again, they don't have the skill set or the setting or maybe the proper environment or friends that would allow them to do that. So getting them to sit down, with an adult to talk that out where everybody's heard, when when students are heard, the kids are heard, they feel confident, and they feel like they don't have to fight. When they don't feel heard is when they act out. And so I'm proud to say that we prevented just this quarter 11 possible confrontations just by having those meetings. All right, so we do have advisory enrichment programs where we have community partners that come in. I highlighted the new ones. We partnered with the Anton Art Center, and they're doing a mural project. And I know we are up for a bond, so if we get the bond, the good thing is that we'll be able to remove this mural. There is a gel material that's being put down first on the wall, and then the students will paint on top of that wall. And so we'll be able to peel that off and take it with us wherever, we land. We also have we had an entrepreneur 6-week workshop that went very well. Students enjoyed that. And that was hosted by a business owner who actually has a hair salon on 15 in Gratiot. All right. We also have in-school one-on-one therapy. Last meeting I told you guys about, we had a mental health healing rally, and then we had group therapy. We have graduated to one-on-one therapy. We have a licensed therapist by the name of Dominique Walker of Healing Matters, LLC. She does 6 hours on site every Thursday for middle and high school students, as long as we have the parent permission. She also offers free virtual sessions off-site for overflow, because she is overflow right now. She has 37 students that she sees. So as long as we have the parent consent, she's able to sit with them, for 15 to 30 minutes. And we also include this in student behavior contracts as a social emotional learning intervention and support. On to field experience and college visits. Recently, we went to Oakland University. We've been to Macomb Community College. We have an HBCU tour in planning. Every class has taken a trip, so these are just a couple of them. 9th grade went to Henry Ford Museum. 10th grade is actually going to the Detroit Historical Museum. And 11th grade went to the Charles H. Wright African American History Museum. I try my best to go to each one as a first-year principal. It allows me the opportunity to get to know my students outside of the classroom. They get to know me as a person and not a disciplinarian, right? And we have a good time. So I've been really enjoying that myself. And they've been enjoying it too. Honor roll ceremonies we do each quarter. Again, we've given out t-shirts for the honor roll. We've given out certificates. And for quarter 3, I have to figure out what I'm going to give them. I want it to be a surprise. So more to come. Again, we're introducing that conflict resolution series. We want to start a peer mediation program, so when kids do have disagreements, they can depend on themselves. So we've been modeling the restorative process, and I'm ready to turn it over to our student leaders so that they can do it themselves. I think they have the power and the information to do it, and so I'm going to test them with that. The Student Life Organization is an organization of high school students who have formed to create fun events like the talent show, like Field Day, Battle of the Classes tournament that's coming up, student and staff game, fashion show. And then, of course, my senior sponsors, my beautiful staff, they have put together prom, junior prom, high school graduation, and the middle school graduation. High school graduation will be on June 6th, 6 p.m. Middle school, June 9th, 10 a.m., both in the large auditorium. All right, and that is all. Thank you for your time.
So I want to thank our building leaders again for the hard work that they're doing. Some of the things there's a few faces here that I've never seen before. And so for those of you that have been here, you've heard this before, right? But I want to make some things clear. A lot of the exposure and the things that you see that we bring for our kids and experiences that we try to provide them is we are focused as a district. A year ago when I got here, we began the process of our strategic planning process. And it involved a lot of you, community members. It took over a year to develop. We had over 100 participants in that process. And one of the things that came out of that development of that process was this community determined that we need to be an environment that develops the whole child, right? Who we service. We service, our student population is 90% economically disadvantaged. I'm going to repeat that. We service a 90% economically disadvantaged community. So what does that mean, right? Our students come to us with a lot of trauma. So the interventions and the things that we implement are intentional to not only educate, but we're trying to develop the whole child, because that's what this community determined that was needed. So we have counseling, we have different interventions, restorative practices to help our students learn how to deal with conflict, how to work through challenges. In addition to that, unlike some of our surrounding districts, right, the names that we frequently hear, who have Chippewa Valley, 33% economically disadvantaged students. Lance Cruz, 36% economically disadvantaged, and so on. One thing that we're very proud of is something that we have to be doing something right, because for the first time in over 40 years, as far back as the data can go, we have increased enrollment for the last 2 years, and I'm very proud of our team and everybody who's been involved. And so I know there's a narrative about the number of students that attend here, but we have over 900 kids that come through our doors, and we service every day. So our staff at all levels are here working tirelessly to meet the needs of our kids and meet them where they are, right? And we don't have the benefit like some other communities where they can just come here and we can teach them reading, math, science, and social studies. We have to be, our teacher of the year, who's been here for over 36 years, has to be not only be the instructional leader of her classroom, but also a mom, a mentor, a guardian, somebody that loves them. So we're very intentional with implementing things that develop the whole child, socially, emotionally, and academically. At the end of the day, as a school, our goal is to help them become competent in their skills, but as well as prepare them for college and career, or whatever they're going to go into. So we still provide our CTE opportunities. We have several kids that have received scholarships. We have several kids that are going off to college, going into career. We still have our culinary arts class, our construction class, our HVAC class, and in the future, no matter what happens, we plan on continuing to grow those programs and increase them. They're not going anywhere. Everyone doesn't go to college, right? I have 3 kids. One went the traditional college route. The other one is a business owner at 20 years old. I don't want to go to college. So we have to make sure that our kids are prepared for whatever. Another point of data, in addition to the enrollment, how we're increasing enrollment is, again, word of mouth increases enrollment. How you treat people and how you develop their children increases enrollment. We also have our student and staff recruiter. So increasing enrollment is one thing. We're also very intentional with trying to recruit highly qualified staff. So we've implemented this year a new role that is our student and staff recruiter, who is going around to universities, Grand Valley State next week, been to Oakland University, Wayne State, and some other universities to actively recruit prospect teachers. We've had the benefit of partnering with some school districts who, in our county, who only have kindergarten through 8th grade. So their 8th graders need somewhere to go to high school. We've been able to partner and collaborate with them to be able to recruit their students. Even the school down the street, Prevail, their 8th graders have visited us, I think last month, about 40 or 50 of them. We had the opportunity to engage them, recruit them, and a lot of those students and families are very interested in coming here. So we're very intentional with not only just building enrollment, but we want, when we get the kids, we want to do right by them. Right? We know historically some of the narratives that are out there about who we are and how we do things, but at the end of the day, as you've seen, we're having an impact with the kids that walk through our doors. So our team, I'm very proud of. One other thing that's very unique to us compared to other districts in our surrounding area, we last year, and this is a positive, but it's also it's relevant. Last year we had a 33% special education referral rate. All right, that's double the state average of special needs students in our building. double the state average of special needs students in our building. All right, so favorably, that number is down this year to 26% because of interventions and because our staff is doing a lot to identify students with disabilities correctly. But that number is still very high. So when you talk about our teachers that are in the classroom, they don't have a classroom that's leveled in front of them. Right? They don't have 25 kids that are all at grade level. They may have 25 kids that are at 20 different levels, and we're expecting them to reach all of them and help them grow from wherever they are. So when you look online and you look at data, and I hear all the rhetoric about our student proficiency rates, we're not comparing apples to apples. No excuses, right? And then I can always say, it ain't my fault, I just got here. But I'm here, right? And so this is all of our responsibility. I feel accountable and responsible for what has happened for the last 30 years when I wasn't here. But at the end of the day, we're working with a very unique population. And I am expecting our building leaders and our teachers to help our kids grow from wherever they are. When they come to us with deficits, to a kid that comes to us with a grade level behind from wherever they come from, I don't expect our teacher to grow that kid who's 2 grade levels behind in a year and catch him up, right? That's not even realistic. But we do expect them to work on having gap closing growth. So eventually they do catch up and get where they need. So when you look online and you look at the data, it's proficiency. And while that's the game that we play because it's associated with standardized tests and finances, we are looking for gap closing growth. Right? We are trying to grow our kids. We're looking for growth, and by the way of focusing on growth, we'll get to the proficiency. NWEA, both of the principals talked about NWEA. NWEA, the data that you saw up here, NWEA is a benchmark assessment that we use. It is aligned with the state assessment as well as ACT and PSAT. So it's a good predictor of how kids are going to perform on those standardized tests as well. It's a standardized test, but it's local. How we use that, though, we use that to inform instruction. It's not just a test, right? We use that, it gives us reports out on the skills and the areas that we need to focus on for our students. And then we expect our teachers to take that data, be intentional with how they plan their classes, their lessons, and their instruction. And so eventually what the research shows is as kids become proficient on that assessment, it will lead to proficiency on other assessments, ACT, SAT. It's a great predictor for if the research says that if students are proficient in 4th grade reading, if they are actually in the 80th percentile on that assessment, they are predicted to have at least a 21 on the ACT. So it helps us inform our instruction more than anything, but it's not the end all. We are trying to, our goal and what this community said should be the goal of this organization in this district is to develop students that are contributing to society, believe in civic engagement, and are good people that can learn. Because we service and meet the needs of who we service, we do things that you haven't even mentioned. Our elementary sends home food weekly to our kids and our families. Blessings in the Backpack. We had an event this weekend to give all of our seniors free prom dresses. We are working to service the whole child and family. So we're doing family workshops, events, turkey giveaways for the community. And so we are really trying to meet the needs of this community and have our kids be a part of that so they can understand the importance of civic engagement, right? In addition to that, I want to share a few other things. I'll just leave it at that. Let me say this. I want to make this clear for the record. Robbie, can you hear me clearly? I know this is, I'll say this in my comments as well. But bond or not, I want everybody to understand that we ain't going nowhere. We will be here. We got 900 kids here. The infrastructure may look a little different, but we will be here. Right? We're doing a lot of great things. We're servicing a lot of families. We're needed. And so while there's a lot of emotion and feelings regarding the bond, well, these kids deserve the best. I wonder what they would do, how they would work and perform if this community and we showed that we believe in them and that despite who they are when they come to us, they deserve to walk into a state-of-the-art facility. Right? What kind of confidence and belief in them could that build? What would we get out of them then? I don't know. It's not the answer. You don't just build it and they'll come. You got to do right in the building, and we're on the right track for that. All of our leadership is brand new in their roles. Our Mrs. McNeely is new at the elementary. Mr. Ville is new here, and I'm in my second year as a superintendent. So we are very excited about the things we have done. Financially, we have, in a year and a half, our CFO back here, Mrs. Dawes, thanks to her leadership, we have worked ourselves out of a deficit for the first time in I don't know how long, but we. And earlier on in my tenure here, you know, I got rocks thrown at me because we had to make some tough decisions and right-size this district and put the resources in the right places and make sure that we are being efficient with our resources. And so for those that don't know, we are trending in the right direction, and we'll continue to do the work. We'll continue to show you. I encourage everyone to continue to come out, not just because it's a bond. This room should be filled like this on a regular meeting. If you really invested in this school district, I know there's a lot of history here, and everybody loves Mount Clemens until we ask for an investment. Now it's close the school, send them to another district. Well, you think you're not going to pay taxes for the other district? You think you're going to pay less taxes if our school closes and they go to another district? You don't think that you have to pay taxes? So it's very interesting to me, the narratives that are out there. But at the end of the day, we're going to be here and we're going to service who walks through our doors, and we're going to do the best we can. So I'm proud of my team. Every teacher, from facilities to the kitchen staff to security, paraprofessionals, our board, you name it, everybody is bought in and is really eager about doing what's best for kids and our staff. So thank you all for listening to the presentations. Thank our building leaders for standing in those gaps every day. Our staff that is here, it's tough. You're encouraged. We have volunteer forums. Anybody that ever wants to come and volunteer in a classroom, you're more than welcome. Our doors are always open. We believe in engaging the community. But more importantly, I encourage people to come and see who our kids are. I've worked everywhere. We got some of the best kids in the world. We got some great students that are eager for somebody to love them, push them, and believe in them. And those are the people that we're looking to hire. There are some people that are not here any longer. They may not have necessarily fit the narrative and what we're trying to do. And it's okay. We wish them well. But we'll continue to build and continue to bring high quality staff and services to our kids so they can reach their fullest potential. So I want to thank everybody that has never been here before. Well, I haven't seen you in 2 years. For being here tonight. I encourage you to bring somebody else to the next meeting. And I'll leave you with this. And we talk about this as a district. You get more of what you focus on. You get more of what you focus on. And if you want to focus on negatives or failures, that's all you're going to see. But I guarantee you, if you focus on the positive, we have them for days here. So thank you for coming out. And I guess that'll be my comments for later, too, so I won't have any comments. I might go again.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I know, yeah.
But thank all of our staff that are here.
Next on the agenda, action items. Item 6, under the consent agenda this evening. Item 6A, approval of minutes. A1, the April 9th, 2025 Committee of the Whole Workshop. 6A2, approval of the minutes of the March 19th, 2025 regular meeting. 6B, approval of bills for payment. 6B1, March bills for payments. Agenda item 6C, new hire. 6C1, a pupil accounting. Consent agenda item D, the 25-26 elevation renewal, Curriculum Associates LLC. Consent agenda item 6E, the 25-26 News LEA renewal. 6F, resolution authorizing Mount Clemens Community School Systems to participate in the School of Choice for school year 25-26. Consent agenda item 6F1, the time period for the School of Choice, April 1 through September 5th, 2025. This includes F1A, 105, and 105C. The chair would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda. Moved by member D. Walker to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second by member Cahoon. This was you. Are there any questions, comments, concerns regarding the motion on the floor?
I'd just like to tell the people that have never been here before that these items were discussed in our workshop last Wednesday. So, if there is no discussion today, this was discussed last week in our workshop, which is open to the public. So if any of you want to come, we'd love to have you at the workshop if you want to hear about any of the things that are going on. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments regarding the consent agenda? Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Cahoon,
Yes.
Ms. Hammond,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. Action item agenda 7, Business Committee, 7A. Approval for the track team overnight for the state finals. Mr. Superintendent.
You know, we have to, as a part of your policy, is to, any overnight stays for our athletes have to get approval from you, and so, that is why that's on here. It's that time of the year again. Our student athletes will be going to compete in the state tournament, and they need your approval to stay overnight in I think it's Grand Rapids. Mr. Pittman in there?
Hudsonville.
I'm sorry, Hudsonville.
You've heard the recommendation. The chair would entertain a motion relative to consent item 7A, the approval of the track overnight trip for the state finals.
So move.
Moved by member McFadden,
Second.
second member Hammond. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding the motion on the floor?
I have a
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the past, this has been on like the same day as graduation thing. That's the one effect. I'm gonna say yes anyway, but I'm just wondering, have we resolved those conflicts? It's not like interfering with prom or
Right.
graduation or anything?
Yeah, I walked into that last year and
Okay.
we made that adjustment. So in the past, our student athletes, this would be around the same time as prom. And so if they went to that, there was a chance that they would miss prom. And so we made the adjustments with prom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always a challenge. Any additional questions, comments, concerns regarding the motion on the floor?
I just want to address policy number 2340. If anybody has questions about this particular item, please go to the website and you can go to see the policies for the Mount Clemens Public Schools. It's policy 2340. Thank you.
Any additional questions, comments, concerns regarding the motion on the floor?
Excuse me, is that like a 2-day?
No.
No, not us.
Hearing and seeing none, call the roll, please.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Ms. Hammond,
Yes.
Mrs. Cahoon,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, item 8 from the Policy Committee. We have item 8A, reading for adoption of policy 5320, immunization, policy 5330, use of medication, policy 5330.01, epinephrine, did that, auto ejector, EpiPen, ejectors. Policy 5350, health, well-being, and suicide prevention. Policy 5460, graduation requirements. Policy 8320, personnel files. Policy 8310, 8510, wellness. Policy 2340, curriculum field trip and non-mandatory student trips. Policy 8500, food service policy 0131.1, bylaws and policies policies 8640, transportation for field trip and other district-sponsored trips. Mr. Chair, you're on.
Thank you. The policy committee met last month to set policies. We did the first reading last week at the workshop. Whenever all the updates to set policies that are state and federal mandated. And I move that the Board of Education passes the second reading and adoption of said policies.
It's been moved by Member Walker to approve policy 5320, policy 5330, policy 5330.01, policy 5350, policy 5460, policy 8320, policy 8510, policy 2340, policy 8500, policy 0131.1, policy 8640. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Second by Member Cahoon. Are there any questions, comments, concerns regarding the policies? Yeah, Mr. Chair, I have one question. I know during the workshop there were a couple policies that had were choices that the district could make. Are we voting on any of those currently? And if we are, what are those recommendations coming from the committee?
So they were included in the policy meeting. They're just the choices that we have currently in the policies.
Thank you.
So they stay the same. There wasn't any new
Gotcha.
choices. Yep.
Any additional questions, concerns regarding the motion on the floor?
Mr. Chair, policy 8640, rescinded, is that rescinded or not?
Yep.
That's when we talked about that.
Yep.
Any additional questions, comments, concerns regarding the motion on the floor? And again, like Member Cahoon stated, everything that we deal with on the agenda, we deal with it in a committee of the whole work session where we go into detail about the items on the agenda. Hearing or seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mrs. Cahoon,
Yes.
Ms. Hammond,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Rickman.
Yes, motion carries. Next on the agenda, informational items. Item 9, out of the Business Committee. 9A, financial reports. Any questions regarding the financial reports? Item 9B, contract listings. Are there any questions regarding the contract listings?
Jen, did you get any update on anything like to do with that?
I have the information, I was just gonna wait until after this board meeting, because it'll be on next, month's agenda.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any additional questions regarding the contract listings? Hearing and seeing none, moving the agenda forward. Item 10, superintendent's comments. Mr. Superintendent.
You have school board calendar. Just a reminder for you all to see your weekly update for events and activities happening in the district. You're always invited, as well as on our website. Another point of clarity that I want to make and make sure that it's clear out there regarding our proposed bond for the May 6th election. The May 6th election is not a special election, so I want to make that very clear. It was not a special election. There's full transparency and reports and things out there, and that you can go and validate that information for yourself. In addition to that, as you know, we are full steam ahead with the bond campaign. There's been a lot of feedback. There's been a lot of town halls and opportunities to engage the community. I've been on try to be everywhere I can to have that dialogue with anybody who wants factual information and wants to discuss it. And I appreciate the continued support for those that are supporting, and for those that don't support. If you're open to a discussion and a dialogue, I'm always available. I've gotten a million emails and phone calls, and I try to respond and have those with everyone who's open to hearing another perspective. And so thank you all for just considering the opportunity to be great in this district, in this community, and restore the history. And we'll never look like it was back in the day. Right? No district does. There's a lot of things that have happened over the last 30, 40 years. But we can still be mighty and be a small, positive, powerful school district. I hear the conversation about enrollment a lot. If there's an article in the Detroit News the other day that talks about having 40 kids in the classroom, right? So it's like a no-win situation. We have an average, I think, about 18 students to teacher ratio. You would think that would be seen as a positive thing, but unfortunately, it's not with all people. But I also have worked in other districts where we've had 40 kids in the classroom, and you have that other side of the coin, right? So we are, again, as I stated earlier, I'm just proud of this district, the hard work that our teachers do. I actually want to put it on the spot. Ms. Allard, as a 37 years, 36 years in this one district, in this place, would you like to say a word about your experience and what's going on and where we are and the direction we're going in?
Just real quick, I'm a graduate of Mount Clemens School that lived in Mount Clemens all my life, and it's very rare that somebody can say that you live in the same community and you work in the same community all these years. So I haven't mentioned, I haven't worked anywhere else but Mount Clemens. I had a very good education from Mount Clemens. I'm an immigrant from Greece, so I came here in 1969, and I was embraced by everybody. My teachers helped me out, and that's where I fell in love with teaching, because I can help the kids as well. And the kids that have gone through my hands, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody, it's not easy. It's not easy. But you have that passion for them, you have that love for them, and you're gonna do the best you can. And Mount Clemens is just, for me, it's getting better and better. Otherwise, I wouldn't stick around. Okay, I could have went somewhere else. It's not the money. It's not the anything else. It's just, this is where I belong. This is where I can do most good. And it's not just me. There's a lot of people that have really given their all to the kids that we service, and you respect them, they respect you. You build that family structure. The parents respect you. And at this age and this many years, I'm teaching the kids of the kids that I have. And I had Miss Allen when I was in her class, and you're gonna have my kid too, and they're not gonna go anywhere else. Where else can you find it? I love it.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you and your service and sticking with us. Yep. Keep up the good work. That's my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Any questions of the superintendent? Next on the agenda, item 11, board comments. Ms. Cahoon.
Funny. All right. So thank you to everyone who came out today. It is much appreciated. Hope to see many of you again soon. Please come to the workshops, because that's where we talk about the finances and things like that. Basically the nuts and the bolts of the district. There are a couple of bond initiative meetings that are coming up. I encourage everyone to go and check those out. The last one that we had, actually the last two, they're very informal. You can ask questions, ask 100 questions if you have them. And Mr. Roper is very, it's just casual. It's just casual, meaning you get your questions answered. And if one question leads to 100, then that's fine too. So I just encourage you on the 28th at Carnes Town Hall.
Keep going.
The bond initiative meeting is at 6 p.m. and it's open to all. And then on April 30th, there will be another town hall here at the Media Center at 6 o'clock. So make sure that you come to one or you come to both. It doesn't matter. And then the information that you heard today from the principals, make sure you share that with your neighbors, with your friends, with people around the district, because positive information needs to be shared. The negative seems to spread like wildfire, but the positive has a slow roll. So we need to change that, because I think the positive things that are happening, especially with discipline and attendance, those are incredible things. And it's only going to get better. We have a great leader, and we have great faculty here at the district, and we have teachers that have heart here, and they really want to see the kids succeed. Lastly, I'll just say great job to all the principals and the faculty continually, month after month, week after week, just coming here, even with all the bond stuff going on, and you having to deal with that. Mr. Roper, Ms. Sell, even the faculty, they have so much to do with the bond. They're still doing what they have to do for the kids each and every day. That's hard. It's hard. It's very hard. So kudos to you. I am so proud to say that I am a Mount Clemens school board member, and that we're just doing amazing things here. So keep up the great work. Thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you. Ms. Hammond.
Thank you. I want to thank the school leadership and staff for all the wonderful things going on in the district. I also want to thank Ms. Hunley with the single family living for her tutoring program she has with the district, and also all of our community partners. When I was over at Seminole, I was able to see the wonderful decorations that Ms. Sumter and Ms. Murphy did in the vestibule of the school. They are creative and beautiful. Thank you so very much for taking your time and your resources. And also, congratulations, Ms. Allard. 36 years, that's amazing here with the school district. I remember when you were my daughter's teacher over at Washington. I love you then, I love you now. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Walker.
Thank you. I want to say thank you to the district leadership at each building for giving us that positive update. It's great seeing positivity when it comes to as secondary for our students below a 2.0 getting decreased by 23 students, which is a big data point, I would say. Thank you to Ms. Principal McNeely, as well as our GSRP coordinator for their hard work, their positions, because we know that GSRP is a great program for us if I don't get into kindergarten. So like I say, thank you to our teaching staff for coming to this meeting today and being great stewards and the face of our district, who are on the front line every day in front of our students. And we'll continue to do great things, no matter how May 6th goes, because we are in the fight for our children that we service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shepherd.
Thank you. I'm gonna probably say a few things I've said before. One thing is I graduated here in 1992. Everything that we had, including the classes that I got solid 2.3 grade point average in, I was a extraordinarily mediocre student. But I was able to take all those things for granted because things like this, a bond initiative and things like that, it's just something that as a student you take for granted. You take for granted that the community is supporting you. Especially during tax time, if you're like making an investment in your house, like maybe buying a new couch or things like that, you don't do a deep dive into how your kids' grades are. It's basically, is it a good investment or a bad investment? I can't decide that for you, but I'm really hoping that people are taking a good look at the barometer that they're using. One thing that might have been lost in these presentations was that the principals were saying about the NWEA tests. They've already had 2, there's going to be a third, and then there's also M-STEPs mixed in there. In 1 year, students are tested more than I was in my entire academic career. And to put that kind of pressure on them is, to me, unfair. Basically, if I was saying, hey, you should do a good job on this test, because eventually maybe your little brother or your little sister might look at these test scores and say, oh, they're not worth it no more. So I just think that people really need to take a good step back and really look at the barometers that they're using, and so, like I said, is it a good investment or a bad investment? But when it comes to using the test scores, I administer some of these tests, or help administer some of these tests in another school district that I work for. A lot of times the tests will stop because kids are clicking too fast, because they're not taken seriously. And it's kind of hard to get them to take that seriously, because it really doesn't have a real effect on them. You know, you can look at attendance, you can look at academic things, but when it comes to looking at these testing, especially when those dates are during COVID, which is just pure chaos for every school district. Again, you can make your own choice and you can use whatever barometer you want, but I'm just hoping that everyone takes a step back and looks subjectively. I'm very proud of the school district and how it's growing, little by little. I'm also hoping people take a step back and look at that and appreciate the small steps that we're taking. I think the administration's doing a fantastic job. Mr. Roper also, and hopefully we continue to put people in place that can continue the growth that we're seeing. I think that's all my, yeah, that should do it. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. McFadden.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Wrote some things down, but I'm not going to read anything I wrote, because I never do. I'm talking to help, so I'll close that out. I'm going to talk a big thing on the bond thing. We always talk about grades, test scores, but my biggest thing is safety. And we have to spend the money to reconfigure this district for the most safest environment for our students. And I stand with all students. And the biggest thing with standing with students is, you notice people stand with somebody when there's a tragedy. When the Russian-Ukraine war took place, you see flags everywhere, people still with Ukraine. The tragedy that happened in Oakland County with a mass shooting, people still with Oxford. We're trying to be ahead of that. I think that the resource and investment of this district, putting the safety first, reconfiguring these buildings, making a separate interest for the middle school and high school, yeah, it's a big investment. And a lot of people think that it's just the students now. But I stand with all students. I stand with the students of the past that came through these doors before me, the students that's now, and the students in the future. I'll stand with students that go to parochial school, go to charter school, and go to homeschool. Because all those students still receive services from this district. They're entitled to it. And we just had a large debate a couple months ago. We had some parents from a local parochial school upset about some services that wasn't being rendered by this district. So when there's a large investment, when it's safety, I can't put a dollar amount on safety. I just can't do it. It's like saying, what's the value of a life? I have seen enough tragedy to realize there is no dollar amount when it comes to a life. $91 million, we got 900 students. That's about $100,000 a child. We're not counting the staff, support staff, paraprofessionals, the teachers, the administrators, and anybody else that walk on this campus. A couple weeks ago, in the Dominican Republic, the roof fell in and killed 200 people. This bond's going to be in order to repair our roof structures if we need it. God forbid we sitting here and this roof fall on us if we die. This bond is going to be used to fix the infrastructure around the buildings, such as the parking lots, in the walkways. God forbid you ride your bike in the evening time or in the weekend and you hit a pothole out here, fall over your handlebars and get a concussion and die, or anything else of that nature. And I have seen those events take place where people fall over the handlebars and need emergency medical assistance. So when it comes to safety and it comes to test scores are important. They very much so are important. But we can look at the test scores that goes back to 100 years of the history of this district, compare the test scores to today, and look at the progress we're making to go forward. But we also want to look at the test scores we're going to have in the future, because many people are going to come through this building, many students. And if you came to this district for one day, you're still a student of this district. And I'm not going to belabor or beg or plead and say, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? Does my property value goes up? Property value goes down? What's the tax status? Like I said, there's no price when it comes to safety. I sat on this board for many years, and my colleague here to my left will tell you, I'm big on safety. When it comes to a threat of another child in this district, I would take another child's safety over any other child that's causing a problem, or any other adult that causes a problem. When it comes to safety, I'm going to stand up for it. Just like going to the military. People say freedom isn't free. Well, when you protect your children, there's no cost to it. And like I said, I'm not going to preach. I'm not going to stamp my horse or anything like that, but this is the biggest thing about this bond. To me, it is. We got to protect the people around us. And that means everybody in the city. This district being reconfigured don't only protect us, it protects everybody in the city. Because if these children have nowhere to go, or the structure of support, they can be the same kids that live in your neighborhood. Same kids that go to your local district, local business, play in your local parks. The same kids that you shun or put down here are the same kids you're going to be seeing walking the streets with you. I'm just saying. I mean, they say it takes a village. We're a family. I love Mount Clemens, for the good and the bad. I can talk a lot of bad things about Mount Clemens, but I'll never talk bad about Mount Clemens, because this is my home. I gotta talk good about my home. I'm not putting it down. And I know I have problems in my family, and I'm talking about my school district family. But when it comes to a family, we stand up, we rally, we support. That's all I gotta say about that. So like I said, I'm not gonna preach. Those are my comments. I'll come off my, when I say it, I get another 5 minutes. You know that, right? But those are my comments.
Somebody want to pass the collection plate?
91 million.
I'd like to start off by thanking our building administrators for coming out tonight and doing the presentation. I know it made for a long day for them. So kudos and thank you for their willing to come out and share with the community, not just the board, but the community, because this meeting is being televised on YouTube, and you can go back and look at it. So kudos for them. Kudos to our teaching staff. Like Ms. Aller just alluded to, I've said it before, for people to teach here in Mount Clemens over a long period of time, they do it because they fit here. Like she stated, it's not for the money. She stated if it was for the money, she would have went somewhere else. And we have a lot of dedicated teachers in this district that have tenure and longevity in this district, and they stay here because of that, because they love Mount Clemens. They love what we're trying to do here in Mount Clemens, and most of all, they're supportive of what we're trying to do here and what we're doing here in the Mount Clemens Community School District. We have some uniquely great students that sit in our classrooms, and we have uniquely great professional educators that are in front of those students in the classroom. And I applaud you and kudos to you, because it's not a very easy job. Not at all, by no stretch of the imagination. So thank you. Great schools are in great communities. Great communities have great schools. They go hand in hand. If you're a member of the community and you support the community, great schools make great communities, and it's hand in hand. One doesn't really exist without the other. You've seen communities without schools. It's a different type of community than it is with a community that has a school within the community. Great schools, great communities. The bond is an investment in the future. I don't believe that this roof is going to fall in and crush anybody, because we've got that checked. So structurally, we're in good shape right here. So nobody be concerned about the roof falling in on the head. But this bond is an investment in the future. It's an investment in our students. It's an investment in future students. It's an overall investment in the longevity and the viability of this community. We are not closing doors or closing schools due to the outcome of the millage, the bond millage, whether it passes or if it fails. We are not going anywhere. We've got over 900 students that we have to service. Decline enrollment is all across this state. You can look at the data. I'm not making this up. You can Google it. This state has been losing students for the last 20 years. This district has been losing students for the last 43 years. 40 of those years I've been here, so I know. The state is losing students. The region is losing students. Our surrounding districts are losing students. Yet, the Mount Clemens Community School District is increasing in our enrollment. That tells me we're doing something right. You eat an elephant one bite at a time. We're eating that elephant one bite at a time, and we're proving and we're showing that we're having positive results because of our dedicated staff, our dedicated support staff, our dedicated administrators, our dedicated central office team, our dedicated board members. Those are my comments. Chair to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Moved by Member Cahoon. Second, Member Hammond. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Cahoon,
Yes.
Ms. Hammond,
Yes.
Dr. McFadden,
Yes.
Mr. Shepherd,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggins.
Yes. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned at what time? 7:58 p.m. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attendance.